Okay. Hello and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my new co-host, Pippi Longstocking. How you
Hey
doing?
y'all.
I love the
Listen,
braid. I love the
this
braid.
this is called COVID chic.
COVID.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's picking back up, y'all. I got my shot, hopefully before I actually had COVID because I did get sick afterwards, but how was it this time around for you?
So it's different. I think this is my third third time having COVID. Could be my
Really?
could be my fourth. Yeah, because I be outside, so it's definitely I've had COVID multiple times. This time
Hmm.
is probably the worst of all the times because
Really?
it's like it felt more like a cold or flu. The previous times that I had it, it felt like a cold or flu too, but it wasn't as like persistent. Like this time I had like coughing, I had like a whole nasal and sinus pressure situation going on. And the only reason I tested was because my niece was like, "Oh, do you want to babysit for me?" And I was so excited. I wanted to babysit so badly and have my great niece over, but I said, "Let me just check and make sure I'm,
It's
not
not a,
really really
yeah.
sick." Yeah. Before I bring the baby. And so I did like the mobile order CVS. Shout out to CVS, seriously, because I did the mobile order for pickup. I sent my husband to go pick everything up for me. It was there. I used all my coupons in the app. It was fire. And then I tested for cold and flu, positive for COVID, and here we are.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to CVS because I get crazy points, and I call them my old lady points because it's amazing to me. And I don't know if you have this problem from your kids, but when my kids go into certain stores and they say, "Do you have a number with us?" They
Oh,
just rail off my number and be taking my, I want my $10. I want my $10.
so I have half of that problem. So
Mm-hmm.
half of the problem is everyone in the family gives my number. My husband, my mom, my kids, they all use
Hmm.
my number
Like
at the
what?
register, but they don't steal my points.
Yeah, no, they steal my points. They use my money that's on there. I mean, like, I don't even go to Old Navy. I didn't even know I had like $20 on Old Navy. And then I got a little email that, showed that I was shopping at Old Navy and got $20 off. And I'm like, Jabril, my child, you don't even live
Mhm.
here. You don't even live here, sir. But that was a couple of
He
years.
don't even. At one point he was out of the state. So you went you enter. What do
I,
you do? What do
I
they
think
call
he
that?
was. He was out of state when he did that.
Cross lines. What do they call it? Interstate
Hmm.
commerce. You breaking multiple jurisdiction laws, sir. Multiple.
And Mia should be coming home with a little CVS bag. I just only spent like $6, and this is like $40 worth of stuff. Because those are my points, ma'am.
Dang. But do you use Fetch? Do you have the Fetch app on your phone?
No. What's
So
that?
this is how you can make sure that even when they're stealing your points, you're getting other points. So Fetch is basically this app where every time you spend, and it could be like Walmart, it could be CVS, you can upload your receipts and you can also link your online
Hmm.
transactions and you just get points for every purchase based on your receipts.
Did not know about that
Yeah, and you can
because.
cash it in for like Amazon gift cards. That's what I
Mhm.
normally get is Amazon or like
Mhm.
Uber or something like that. It takes a little bit for it to accumulate, but every time you go grocery shopping, every time you
Yeah,
go to
well, everybody
CVS,
uses the stuff, so it's like
yeah,
I accumulate very quickly.
yeah,
So
you can
obviously
get.
it'll work for me.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll
So,
send you the link later.
well,
But
I'm sorry to
anyway,
hear that you had COVID. I'm glad to see that you're looking well, though.
yeah, I think I told you before we got started. I just like started sweating for no
Hmm.
reason. And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I guess it's the COVID leaving my body, but it's forcing me to sit down for a whole week, which is
Hmm.
probably a good thing. And I
Hmm.
just been binge watching TV, playing games on my phone, trying to get a little bit of like my side hustle work done.
Hmm.
I'm all right. I'll be okay.
Yeah. I did binge watch the show that you told me to watch, All Her Fault on Peacock.
You watched the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing,
Girl.
and it was, I suspected, but it actually was very well written, like you said. And the villain who I thought was really going to be the villain was not the villain. So that was a
Not at
nice
all.
surprise. Not even close. Not even close to the villain. Um, yeah, it was actually pretty good. It was pretty good. They could
Right.
have made it maybe 2 episodes shorter because I feel
It could
like
have been a movie. It could
like
have been a motion
yeah.
picture, but it probably
Hmm.
was cheaper to make it a series.
Hmm.
And big up to the female who produced this. I think this was like a female produced show. And what
Hmm.
I will say is that what I liked behind the mystery, because I love a mystery, are the undercurrents of the themes, right?
Hmm.
The marriage themes, the friendship themes, the if you have a little bit of affluence, what that means when you have your
Hmm.
kids in certain schools and what the expectations are. Just like there were a lot of little nuances there that I think were cross cultural, even though these were affluent white
Hmm.
women we were mostly dealing with and characters. And then they
Hmm.
did like the seedy side of town. And thank you for making those characters also Caucasian. I appreciate that very much. Um, and making the black man wealthy.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, he was wealthy and he was smart, but he had a little bit of an addiction. It wasn't a drug addiction, but
Hmm.
it was actually pretty good. It was pretty good. I
It
can't think of
was.
the woman who stars in it. What's her name?
I don't remember her
She
name,
was
but I
from
just
Succession, and
I
I
loved
just like
her in Succession. Yeah, she was
there
like
was
my favorite.
one scene when she was sitting on the kitchen floor and she was crying, and then the husband came over there to console her, and like her body was just shaking. I'm like, that's fucking skill because she made that look so natural, so real. I mean, it was she's definitely up there. She
My
has.
girl was acting, and I also
Hmm.
loved how they incorporated not one but two people with special abilities into the show,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
just like
About
so
time.
fluidly, and actually used a young kid who
Hmm.
actually has a disability in the
Hmm.
show, instead of making a kid who does
Yeah.
not have a disability play a kid with a disability. I hate
Hmm.
that shit. So
Hmm.
I really loved this production. I was like, I don't know what else this writer has coming down the pike, but if they say, from the writer of so and so of All Her Fault, I would watch it
Check
again.
it out again. Yeah, it
I
was
would
actually
watch something else
good.
she write. Yeah, it was
And I
good.
sent you a story of another movie that was
Hmm.
British that was very similar. But I'm gonna give this American interpretation a slight edge over it,
Yeah, it was.
just
I
for
haven't
the
seen the other
ending.
one.
Just for the ending. But you should
It.
watch it. It was actually pretty good. It's only like
I
4 or 5 episodes.
I jumped out of my seat, COVID and all. I jumped out of my chair and was like, and
I see
screaming at episode 7 and 8. I was just
it.
jumping out. I was jumping out of my seat and screaming at
Hmm.
the television.
I knew that that young girl who's the antagonist in this or whatever, I knew why she was doing this. That did not surprise me. I knew from the very beginning that that was why she was doing it. There was just no it's yeah,
But then
that
they
but they
sowed
twisted it.
sowed several seeds of doubt throughout.
Mhm.
So then it's like you think but then you're like, wait, did I miss something? Did
Well,
I
that was
mess
the
that
only
up?
thing I knew for sure. That was the only thing I knew for sure. Everything else. Remember, I text you like the guy's having an affair with the sister. I thought that
Yep.
was her sister.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
And I
like,
was like, I'm
okay,
not saying a word. I'm not saying
it
a
was
word.
way off. I was way
It
off.
was it was a good show though. I
Yeah,
liked it.
it was good. So that topped off the weekend for me. I did end up binging. I think I started at like 8, 9
You
last
started it yesterday. I was like, oh, you finished it
night. And
already.
I finished. You know what time I finished?
What time?
4 o'clock this morning.
Was it because you felt like you needed to finish it? Like you just wanted to see what's happening next? What's happening next?
And because I was just like, I don't got nowhere to go tomorrow.
Okay.
Just fucking hang with the girl. Just go with it. And I
It
was
was
just still
good.
up, and I had been out all day. I thought so. I was out all day, and then I took a little nap. So that's probably why I was able to just go ahead and just watch it because I was just like, I'm up. And even after I finished watching it, I was still up. So I don't think I even went to bed. this morning until like about 5:30. And
Dang,
then
yeah,
woke up
you were
at
running.
what, 9? So I'm probably gonna crash hard tonight. It's gonna be disgusting. But anyway, on to this week. It was a fabulous week. A lot of
It
things
had its ups
in.
and downs. It definitely had extreme
It definitely
highs
had its ups and downs.
and extreme lows. Yeah.
We started off on Tuesday with the very highly anticipated races, across the country. Rhode Island wasn't in one of them, but I was heavily invested in New York's race, and I know you have some things and that you took some notes on. I want to hear what you have to say on that. I was very happy.
Yes. So, as the world probably knows, and if you're hearing it for the first time on our podcast, I'm glad you're getting your news from us. But Zoran Mamdani, we're gonna put some respect on this man's name and pronounce it
Because
correctly.
everybody is disrespecting him in his name. Not everybody, those who try to yield that kind of power. And I should know with a name like Shahida.
Right. The people who can pronounce Tchaikovsky can't
Yeah.
say Zoran Mamdani. But
Mhm.
anyway, so as you know, he has won he's the New York's youngest mayor in a century. So in the
Mhm.
last 100 years, he is the youngest. So he made history in that respect. He is the first Muslim and South Asian to hold this office. So he's already, again, he's breaking down systemic racism in so many ways with this win. He won with just, I guess, slightly over 50% of the vote. We'll take it. He
You
won,
take it.
um, defeating Andrew Cuomo, who should have sat his ass down, and Curtis Sliwa, which, again,
That
okay.
dude, if most people don't know who that is, he started the Guardian Angels like years ago, but he is a complete crackpot.
Yeah, we did not need that.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. His campaign was grassroots. It was like a lot of social media, which I'm not opposed to if you're saying the right things and you're trying to reach people where we live, which is on social media.
Mhm.
He talked a lot about affordability, housing, economic justice. Those were his platforms, which usually, you know, especially in a city like New York, where a lot more people have not than have,
Mhm.
I can understand why that would be compelling. In his platforms, basically, again, he ran on, like, he wants to talk about rent free, something that we talked about just last week with Representative Morales. We're talking about keeping rent more affordable for people because New York's already ridiculous. The apartments are the size of a closet. They, a lot of them are just not even up to code. If you believe what you see and hear on television. Universal childcare is something that he's very adamant about. Making some buses free in the city of New York. We
Okay.
actually have that in Massachusetts. Did you know that the MBTA has some free buses in Boston?
Oh no, I didn't know. What buses?
The number 23 for sure is a free bus in
What's
Boston.
23?
It goes down Washington Street.
Okay.
But it comes like through, I think it leaves Ruggles, goes
Oh,
through
23 is,
Dudley,
yeah, okay, I know the 23 and the
and,
22. Tremont
and goes
Street
to
in Boston.
Ashmart.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, so yeah,
okay.
the
Mhm.
23 is free in Boston. So he's talking about bringing that to New York, which I'm sure that will help a lot of underserved people. First of all, if you're taking the bus, you probably don't have it like that. Subway's
Mhm.
different. Everybody takes the subway. Celebrities take the
Mhm.
subway, but you don't see celebrities on the bus. You don't see
Mhm.
a lot of wealthy people busing it.
Mhm.
So subway in New York is a different story, but we're talking about the actual transit buses. So he's trying to make those free. He's trying to hire the minimum wage. A lot of our Democrats are working on things like that. He's talking about funding, taxes, all of the things that just normal working class and under working class people really need in society. We need this help because costs are getting higher and wages are not going up. And people are actually losing jobs, especially Black women, where our
Mhm.
unemployment
Mhm.
rates are skyrocketing. And oftentimes we're the head of our households, or we're part of a two parent household or two income household where we really need our money and we need to get to work. Not everyone's blessed to be able to work remote. Some people have to show up in the office, and how do you get there? How do you make enough money to support your family? All of those things.
Can I make a point? 30,000 Black women have lost their job in the last 10 months since Trump took office.
Mhm.
So, I mean, not to mention the many, on top of that, the many people who have lost their jobs. Jobs are not coming back to America under a Republican president. They never have. So
Mhm.
that's just another thing to think about.
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
mean, everyone's talking about it. Ayanna Presley's been very vocal about that as well. So, more on that. The pushback that he gets, in particular, though, Mamdani, is people are calling him a radical. People are saying that he's going to bring like these crazy laws, and he's going to like oppress, I guess.
Christians
Yeah, I guess
and
that's what they're
Jews
trying
and
to say. Which
Jews.
is like, how do you think this man got into office?
Hmm.
Who do you think voted for him? It's not just Muslim people. It's not just
Hmm.
atheists. It's Christians. It's
Hmm.
Buddhists. It's all different
It's
kinds of.
Jewish people
It's
voted
Jewish
for
people too.
him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
It's not just, one. It's people who are fed up and tired of the BS. They want
This,
something new. They want something
mhm,
refreshing, and hopefully he
mhm.
can
And
bring
it's
that.
not, it's what people want is for the government to work for them because that's what they pay taxes into. So it's one thing to say like, oh, you want to bring back affordable housing, and then you have somebody like Elon Musk and Thiel and all these billionaires, spending millions of dollars to make sure that this man is not elected because they don't want to pay 2% more on taxes. 2%. That's
Meanwhile, Meanwhile, you have people like, is it Mackenzie Bezos, and not Mackenzie Bezos? What's his name?
That's Jeff Bezos' ex-wife
Who
who
she
is
donated she
she
donated
donated
to Spelman, right?
time.
So you
Hmm.
have women like that who have buckets
Several
of money,
HBCUs. Hmm.
and she's just giving with her whole heart to
Hmm.
historically black colleges and universities, out of
Hmm.
just like, and I imagine it's the kindness of her heart, because she does not have to do that,
Hmm.
and she does not need publicity. For what? She doesn't need publicity. She's not, it neither makes or breaks her to give this money. So to do it is a wonderful thing. So it's good to see that some wealthy people do have a conscience, do have a heart, do
Hmm.
have some empathy out
But
there.
not her
So
ex-husband, that's for sure. 20, what, how much did he spend? 20 million on his wedding, and then got a $20 billion tax write-off, and then
mm,
tells you in the same week he's laying off 30,000 of his employees, 15,000 this quarter, 15,000 the next quarter. Come on, sir, you made record funds last year.
yeah,
Insane. People are
yeah.
tired. People are tired and they're hungry.
And the thing is that people are not getting paid. People who work for our
Hmm.
government. And I saw a video, I don't know if you saw it as well, but there was a woman that was saying, stop calling it a shutdown, because it's not. She was like, the government's still working, because you know what they're still
Hmm.
doing. Even though they're quote unquote shut down, they're still sending money to South America. They're still funding military operations, but not
And
paying
they
the
still
service.
send money to Israel.
So the government's
They
not
still
fully
sending
shut down.
money.
Not fully shut down. So,
Hmm.
it's crazy. So hopefully, Mom Donnie can get the ball rolling in New York. He's going to have a lot of opposition. He already has a lot of opposition, and it's like even things with, we talk about change and things like that, but he really seems like he wants to get in there and affect change. So that's, one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing, what he's actually going to implement as the mayor. And the mayor in Boston, even though Rhode Island wasn't in it, in Boston, Massachusetts, Mayor Wu ran unopposed, and people were complaining about that. Well, oh,
Hmm.
she ran unopposed, because why would we throw monkey wrench when we know this woman's good?
Hmm.
We're good, and no one wants to disrupt. rep that, even though she has a lot of people who are against her, and the comments are
Oh
so
yeah.
filthy, so vile, so racist. When you go in there and
Mm-hmm.
look at what people are saying about her, sexist, all of that,
Mm-mm.
she don't care. My girl is just up there with her
Mm-mm.
baby on her hip, doing good, and that's what New York deserves.
Because and Boston is prospering because of her. And like I think somebody said too that but and I didn't realize this too. Boston does lead the way. Massachusetts does lead the way in a lot of things that actually become national, policies, just like
Hmm.
the Affordable Care Act that started in Boston, Massachusetts first, and that was Romney. Yet he
Yeah.
ran away from that, once he tried to run for president. And maybe if you had stuck to your value system instead of trying to appeal to races, you may have won something. But anyway, but also, I think Boston imposed a 4% tax on people making over a certain amount of money. And people were saying at that time that, oh, they're going to leave, the millionaires are going to leave the state. And what? No, more came. More came.
Yeah.
So actually asking millionaires to pay what they should. I mean, and honestly, that's not even the top of what they should be actually paying. I mean, because a 4% hike for you paying into taxes seems pretty low. 2% definitely seems low. So I don't think that's gonna change New York at all. It's probably gonna make it more prosperous. And those
Hmm.
people who are saying they're gonna leave the state, go. Because maybe we
Right.
can afford to get your apartment
Peace out. They
with
made
some
a
rent
joke.
control.
They made a joke on Saturday Night Live last night. They were like, "Remember all of y'all who said you were gonna leave if he got into office?" So
Oh, they did.
Colin Jost, and
Uh-huh.
Pete Davidson own the Staten Island Ferry, and they were like, "Oh, we have a place for
Mhm,
y'all to move to," because they're always joking about how much money they lose on the ferry, and it's like a money pit. So they
mhm,
made like this AI rendition of the Staten Island Ferry. They were like, "Y'all can just all move onto the Staten Island Ferry and live here." It was just a funny joke. I'm botching it, but it was really funny.
mhm.
And he was like, "So y'all leaving? Y'all ready to leave?"
Ain't going nowhere. We ain't going
Yeah,
nowhere. And again, like you said, he was voted by the people of New York, not just one group of people, but a variety of people. And I think they said like the last mayoral election, they had like what, 1 million people come out, and this mayoral election was like 15 or something crazy. It was a huge difference. And number,
yeah.
and Cuomo he didn't do bad. He didn't do bad, but the audacity that we as a people, or those people that vote for people like Cuomo and Trump, you say that you want law and order, and then you have no problem in sex offenders, or people who break the law, who fraud the system, but you only have a problem when it's a so-called SNAP beneficiary, and they're working a little bit more overtime than they should and still getting SNAP, and you looking into their basket to see what they have. And we should get into that a little bit too, because congratulations to him. And Muslim to Muslim, I want to see him do extremely well, because I want to shut
Yeah.
all that chatter down. But so SNAP has, and I haven't the president went to the Supreme Court after a federal judge in Rhode Island demanded that he pay SNAP benefits to the American people. Why is this man fighting so hard for these people not to get their SNAP? Somebody said that they think he spent that money,
But
and it's a possibility.
But
It might be there.
Brett Favre can go and defraud the SNAP program
$20
for
million.
millions, millions, and
20
slap on the
million.
wrist, slap on the wrist, slap on the wrist.
Never did a
That's the
day in
money.
jail.
Go get the money back from him.
Never did a day in jail. And we talk
And here's the
about
thing.
welfare queens, and usually they try to put the black woman's face to it, and that's not usually the case. And the majority of people are in the middle of the country, and in those southern states, those are the people that need it the most. But they're doing the most chatting too. So,
But there are a lot of people. There
But
are people. I was gonna say people that work at your local place. Think of the places you go every day. Pick up your prescription at CVS. You go buy your groceries at Market Basket. Do you not think those people are also on food stamps? Those are the people. That's the face of SNAP benefits, and they have families at
or
home.
your
Your
Amazon driver.
your Amazon driver, your Uber Eats driver. You think they're out here balling?
Okay, so yeah, I think we left off with we're a disgusting country. We are disgusting. And part of the disgust is the racism that has never left. I mean, I think I saw a meme where somebody said all those people who protested and spit on and cursed at little black babies trying to go to school, all they did was become grandparents and parents to another generation of racist people. Part of the problem with racism is that we don't deal with it when we should, and we allow people to gaslight us, and not only gaslight us, but play in our faces with they've changed their views. And no, they just go back home and be racist. Anyway, an incident happened in Smithfield um last month, October. It started in October. I'm going to go through the timeline. So, and I think many of you have probably heard about the Smithfield football players that hazed a freshman footballer by locking him in a bathroom and spraying Lysol like under the door. So, when you hear that, Tracy, what does it sound like to you just off the rip?
I mean, off the rip, it sounds like hazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounds like to me. You know, just high school BS. You know what I mean? The things that kids do to each other, in high school and college.
Mm-hmm.
Bullying, all of that stuff. That's what it sounds like
And
on the surface.
and that's what I thought too in the beginning. So October 1st, this happened. There was a alleged hazing incident that occurred where five senior football players reportedly trapped a freshman teammate in the bathroom, sprayed him with Lysol, but yelled anti-Semitic slurs. So now the Lysol takes another little different turn because they sprayed it under the door and through the vents of the bathroom. So you think Lysol, you think it's kind of gassy, you're locked in the bathroom. That's what you think about it. So that was October 1st. October 9th, the executive director of the Sandra Borstein Holocaust Education Center learned about the incident. October 10th, the school superintendent, Don Bartz, released a statement confirming an investigation into inappropriate conduct and stated that several students would be barred from participating in the football season for the remaining of the season. October 16th, the Holocaust Education Center is delivered an educational plan to the superintendent for the students. So they had like this one day when they learned about the Holocaust and its repercussions. But remember, they're seniors. They should have learned this already. Anyway, October 21st, an Auschwitz survivor's daughter spoke to the team as part of their educational effort and involved the players, their parents, and copies of the graphic novel Moss about the exterminations. Around October 22nd or 23rd, five players were reportedly reinstated to the team after a day of that educational training without telling the parents of the boy that they hazed. Yep. Okay. October 24th, the Jewish Alliance Center of Greater Rhode Island got involved. They condemned that the condemned the school for reinstating the boys without contacting the parents or having any kind of conversation. October 27th, the Smithfield Town Council postponed a meeting due to the anticipated high attendance because it was very big and lack of information from the school district. October 30th, the Rhode Island Attorney General's office launched a civil investigation into the incident following a parent's complaint. November 3rd, the Smithfield School Committee held its meeting. The discussions was the district's response, voting to authorize an independent investigation into the administration and how the situation was handled. November 5th, just last week, the superintendent, Don Bartz, was placed on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of the legal incident. My thing is, okay, so I've read the lawyer's response for the boys, and they're saying it was just a hazing incident. But in the manual for the Smithfield School Department, there's a zero tolerance for hazing and bullying. So whether it is anti-Semitic or not, hazing and bullying is 100% against their policy. But
Mm-hmm.
they're saying, well, the boys are seniors. This is going to ruin their future. And this is what we hear all the time when young white boys are involved in incidents like this. We go back to Brock Turner raping a girl outside, and the judge saying, well, we don't want to be too harsh with his punishment. We're gonna let him out on what? I think he had like 18 months, but he never spent any time in jail, and his record gets to be expunged after this 18 months because we don't want to ruin their future. And
Mm-hmm.
this is why incidents like this and racism continues to go on because we let these people gaslight us all the time. The policy says zero tolerance off the football team.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point, they're tracking to be freaking on the Supreme Court with this type of behavior. It smells like Brett Kavanaugh to me. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? This is exactly the type of mentality that this country and the systems in place have. Here's my thing. Yes, kick them off the football team. I don't care if that
Mm-hmm.
impacts their college prospects. I don't care if it impacts, you know
I want
what,
to fix this.
take a gap year then and figure your life out. I think honestly, if it was me, I personally feel like they should have been remanded to remote learning. Like get out of the school entirely. I don't even want you here.
Mm-hmm. If the policy about zero tolerance is true, obvious, but you have way
But
too many
definitely
incidences.
extracurriculars, I want you out. That's extracurricular. But
Mhm.
so what they're thinking about is they're thinking about their sports league. They're thinking about all the, that's the thing, especially when it comes to sports, they're gonna bend the fuck out of the rules for student athletes, especially if they're any good or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Like they're always gonna bend the rules for those kids.
Five seniors, I'm guessing that's probably the whole varsity right there. Or the backbone of the varsity. Because if it's like five seniors and they're not really good or they're not really bringing anything to the team, they probably would have stayed suspended. And then also, too, you got to think about their parents.
If it was my kid, I would pull
Yeah,
him off the team myself.
me. But that's the difference. Yeah, yeah. I would say the same thing too. Because like, how dare you? How dare you? And to have like the Rhode Island Society of the Holocaust come in there and give them all this big lecture and teach them this is stuff they knew because they're saying that it wasn't anti-Semitic. The boy is saying that you yelled out anti-Semitic slurs. So I'm gonna believe him. Some of
Mm-hmm.
the students are saying that they didn't, some are saying that they did. I'm going to believe what the boy said that they did, and regardless, you taunted, you terrorized, you threw him in a bathroom, you locked him up. He was afraid. He doesn't know you. He
And
don't
he's an
know.
underclassman. He just
He's a,
got
he's a
there.
freshman. He just got there. He don't know you. You don't know that whether you're joking or not. And then we are living in a society right now where Jews are getting a lot of hate.
Hmm.
Now, and that's because of Israel. So a lot of Jews need to deal with Israel and their allegiance to what Israel is doing to the folks of Gaza. But but anti-Semitism has always been a core part of hate in the United States. And when we have politicians saying that, oh, these Anglican politicians saying that, we need to protect Israel's rights. The only reason they want to protect Israel is because they believe from their Bible that the only way Jesus comes back is to come back and then smite the Jews and then they go to heaven, which I did not know. I was wondering why they was fighting for them so much. No, it's not for any kind of love or compassion for them. They're waiting for them to be smited. So there's a lot of anti-Semitism in this country, and I think it's really at a heightened level right now because of what Israel is doing. So of course, I'm going to speak out against any type of racism, but they need to check themselves too. But this is ridiculous. This is a
But
kid.
these five seniors, they're
It's
not that deep into no politics. This
they're
is
not
not why
probably
they
not
did
at
that.
all.
They
Yeah,
probably heard some mess at home and they're acting off of what they've heard and seen around them. Because why would you do this? Why would you
point.
behave like this? Unless you told me that you did that to that happened to you when you got there as well. This is like your Lysol game that you play. But the fact that the kid is saying they said, these anti-Semitic things to him, and it's like you bullied this underclassman. You're supposed to be ushering him into like your football world. Y'all should be banding together. Y'all should be teammates, if anything, and you should be like, is the young man's on the football team too? The
Yeah, but the lawyer is saying that's part of their team bonding.
this, but so that shows you that other things have happened that they've turned the other cheek on.
Yeah,
That
oh, he
they've
mentioned a couple of other things too. I can't remember what they were when I was reading the rebuttal to this, but he was saying that what they did to him was nothing compared to like what some of the boys had to go through.
I'm
So
sure,
again,
that's an American cultural thing. It happens in black sororities too. This
mhm,
hazing and things like that. But that's it's bad when it happens. Within our confines too. But this was clearly racial, and it was clearly prejudice that happened here because of the difference, because this young man was Jewish and you basically made him feel like he was in a gas chamber, and you called
mhm,
him like filthy slurs. Like, obviously, even if there was a no tolerance policy in the book, y'all should have made it no tolerance at that moment.
mhm.
You should have
And
made
we're
it
living
zero
in a
tolerance.
time now where Nazis, white nationalism is huge. So you can't tell me that there was not some kind of hate crime involved in this. You
Yeah.
know, even if they just thought that they were, I mean, it's just not funny. And if you haven't taught your children by the time that they're seniors that certain things are not funny and you have to respect a certain person's culture for whatever reason, this is why we consistently relive racism every single day because white people don't learn. Just like we just had Halloween, there was just another woman in blackface, and she was pretending to be at a grocery store in blackface, talking about I'm missing out on my EBT card. That was her Halloween costume. So again, they know the racism, they know it, and they pick to antagonize people and then gaslight you with it was a joke. No, it's not a joke. And until we start really ostracizing these people, it's just going to continue. I mean, it's never going to stop. I don't think it's ever going to stop because that's who they are in their souls. Again, 1960s, spitting on black kids trying to go to school. These are their grandchildren.
They should have brought the parents in and made them sit through the Holocaust thing too, and it should have been more than one day. It
Yeah.
and I mean honestly, when I went to school, we they made us watch Schindler's List. We got a full education on the Holocaust, like you said, before senior year. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what you're doing. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
understand, but you've also felt like it was worth the risk of doing it because you knew nothing was going to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And these
Mm-hmm.
coaches, like I get that could disrupt your entire team's record for the screw all of that. What does it not matter
Mm-hmm.
what kind of students you put into the world, like how you coach them. It's not just on the field, it's off the field as well. So you're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be teaching them sportsmanship, camaraderie, teamwork, bonding, inclusion. All that, part of that is why people put their kids into sports, so that they can learn to be part of a community. And you're basically like, the fact that they let them back in the school is crazy to me, because they should have not only been off the team, they should
But
have
and did it
probably been
quietly.
expelled. And
Mm-hmm.
then so now
And did it
this young man is
quietly, you know?
re-traumatized. He's re-traumatized because now he shows up at school. These kids are back. And do you think they're done messing with him? I doubt it. I'm sure they're finding more
And you
ways
know the
to
school, as
antagonize this
far as the
boy.
students, they're picking sides. So you got the kids that are with the football, the five football players. You know, those are probably the ones that say, "I didn't hear them say any anti-Semitic slurs." They're, so they're probably antagonize him on a daily. So his life is probably kind of hell right now. But nobody cared about that, and they slipped. He went to football practice, and no one had told him that these boys were back in school. Nobody
And
told
so
them that they were back there on the football team.
so
So
then
it's like it was a total shock.
so when they're practicing with each other, they're playing against each other. So when they're playing, they're playing
Mhm.
against another team. When you go to practice, you're playing against your teammates. So you don't think they're going to give them a little extra push, a little extra a little, they're probably finding other ways to intimidate and antagonize this poor kid. And
Mhm.
I can't even imagine what his family is going through. It's really messy, and it's messed up.
Mhm.
I'm glad that there was a civil case open, and I hope that some money changes hands, if possible, to show
Mhm.
them. They need to really
Mhm.
show,
And
like,
I'm glad that there's that. Go ahead.
no,
I'm
hit them.
sorry.
I'm just saying, hit them where it hurts. Hit them in the pocket.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's an outside investigation to it, because obviously Smithfield did the investigation. They found that the boys were guilty of what they were being charged with, and decided to slip them on back inside. I mean, I get it. The parents have a right to appeal. I would want to appeal. I would want to know the whole story. So I get that. But at the same time, what they did and how you appeal it, and without, I'm sorry, there has to be some kind of um there has to be some type of punishment for the act. They can't just be able to go on and play football. If if you talk to me as a parent and it was my child, I'd be like, okay, he can come back to school, but no, I don't want him back on the football team. Why
Right.
should I be caring about his football future when he doesn't care about his football future? He doesn't care about his future. He's just going to go to a college, and then what? He's gonna do the same thing to someone else that he feels is a minority to him. Or what about your daughter? Because these people don't just stop
Nope.
harassing people.
They're
No,
gonna
they
go
go
in a
on
frat
to
house
other
and
targets.
yeah, they're gonna go in a frat house and do frat boy shit, and that usually results in somebody
Hmm.
else being harmed.
And they always get away with it. They get away with it. How many cases of child molestation have I read this year by grown men who get off with just a warning, a fine? Grown men having sex with 10 and 12-year-old girls. It was, what was that? There was a football player. No, it wasn't a hockey player, I believe, college hockey player. And He was raping his cousin
Oh my
from the
God.
time she was 8 till 12 years old. And you know he has no jail time. No
How?
jail time.
That's so
Because
terrible.
the system is not, which is crazy to me that white women support a lot of boys would be boys attitudes when your daughters are the ones, or you are the one being raped. But there are the system is not made up at this point, which is crazy. Even though we had this whole big Me Too thing, it's still not supporting especially young girls. I mean, how do you not send somebody to jail for raping an 8-year old till she was 12 years old,
It's
and
but
his
it's the
cousin?
it
And
goes
it's
back to the accountability of what we can control. So there's the system that we rely on. Then there's also your own freaking moral compass inside your house when no one's looking. That's what's lacking
mm-hmm,
in America today is people being accountable for their shit and also for just having a conscience and having empathy towards other people. You and I both said like if this was our kid and we knew our kid was wrong, you're going to make your kid be accountable because as black women we can't afford to put our sons into the world with delusions of grandeur
yeah,
that you could just go around doing whatever the
that's the
fuck you want
difference.
and nothing's going to happen to you. But it's not just because of that, it's because it's the right thing to do. And a lot of people just don't,
Mm-hmm,
they lack just the basic understanding of the right thing to do. The show we were just watching, so many
mm-hmm,
decisions were made and people did what best served them in those
mm-hmm,
scenarios. And that
mm-hmm,
was like the big plot twist in that show. All her fault was the husband, one of the husbands, he just did what best served him in every possible scenario from the time he was a child to the time he was a grown man. And he didn't care whose neck he stepped on as long as it worked
mm-hmm.
out for him. That's the problem.
But then look at all the people that supported that as well, and they got tired of it, but you enabled him many, many times.
Because they benefited as well. So that's the other
Mm-hmm.
piece is when people
And
stand to benefit, they're going to look the other way. They're going to
mm-hmm.
let you, misbehave and things like that. But there has to be more accountability. It's bad. But
Yeah,
I think that the parents of those football players, they had the option to pull their kids off of that team.
yeah, yeah. And I wish we knew who they were. Because at the end of the day, I want to know who the dirty people are. I want to know who the people are that think that racism is a joke, or that the Holocaust is a joke, and that pretending to gas somebody is a joke. I want to know who you are. And it's one of those things that especially we as African American, we often teach our children to be very wary of other children in situations, especially when you get to a certain age and you go out and you're the only black person in a group of white guys. You can't do the same things that they do. You absolutely cannot. And you need to know when to walk away, because when shit hits the fan, you're going to be part of that group, and you're going to be judged way
Yeah.
harsher in
But
that
it shouldn't get
situation.
to the you shouldn't get to high school without knowing what the right thing to do is. That starts from knee high. That starts from before you can
That's the problem.
even walk. Is that you're
Mhm.
right. There's not enough accountability for these kids from growing up, and then you want to try to talk to somebody when they're 15, 16 years old. No, when those lessons need to be taught, they need to be planted at a young age, and then you water those seeds. That's not something you start talking to somebody about when they're grown. So and kids
Mhm.
do do things that are not what you taught them. But then as a parent, the
Exactly.
continued parenting comes in when you go in and you say,
Mhm.
listen, this is not how I fucking raised you. Like, what were you thinking? And since you
Mhm.
don't know how to make good decisions for yourself, I'm going to start making some additional decisions for you, in which case you're off the football team. In which case,
Mhm.
you know, this is the plan for you to get back on track. play, letting them get back on the
Mhm.
team and just acting like your kid is not negligent in this scenario is so bad. And those people know who they are, and other people know who they are. And I hope
Mhm.
that the parents of this student and other parents who are have the bravery to step up against them will also handle their business internally over at Smithfield High School,
Let me ask you a
wherever the high
question.
school is.
If the if let me ask you a question. If the five students and their parents came to you,
Hmm.
and as you being the mother of the other child, came to you, and those parents made their children apologize and said, "What else can we do to make amends?" or blah 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 blah. How would you take that?
That's not enough. Like, I mean, saying sorry is not
Because
enough.
I
That
feel like you said, I'm sorry. I asked you a question, then I started to answer the question. Go ahead.
No, so I'm just saying there's much more like you need to do, and I don't even think obviously there are things you could do, like say, oh, you guys have to volunteer for this, blah blah blah. I don't think that necessarily gives the result that you actually need. Like these kids, they need to something really, really needs to be like done. Like and like I said, I would have just removed them from the school. Like you are doing the rest of your lessons remotely for the rest of your get out of the
Mhm,
school entirely and think about what you've
mhm,
done all school year at your house while you're doing all your classes remote, and don't even come onto the school
mhm,
grounds for the rest of the year. And when you
mhm,
go to college, your college essay needs to be about this bullshit that you just did and what you learned from it.
mhm. I like that one. I know me, if I genuinely felt like, because I feel like there are times when your children do something that is completely opposite of what you have taught them. And I always go back to one story, nowhere near this level. But my oldest child, somebody said that he called their mother a name, right? And I'm like, he absolutely would not do that. That is not my child. He would not do that. I went through the things and then I said to him, Michael, did you say X, Y, and Z? And he said, yes.
Yes.
Oh, shit. Why why would you say that? Why did you
I'm
do
sure
that?
he had his
And he didn't have a
reasons.
good He didn't. It was just a back and forth or whatever. But I learned my lesson that sometimes your children will do something completely out of character, and you can be hurt and shocked by what they do. And if a parent came to me and they said, that is not who I am. And I felt that they were being sincere. I would still think that they should not be on the football team because there has to be some accountability. There has to be some type of punishment. There has to be something that's going to make you think, well, shit, I really effed up. So I feel that. But if you had came to me and apologized or whatever, I wouldn't have a problem, or and apologize to my child or whatever. I would not have a problem with their coming back to school. I wouldn't. A lesson learned, maybe even apologize to the school. But when you go behind and you get a lawyer and then you just sneak your kid on, and that makes me think you are exactly where he learned that from.
Yeah. Why do you need a
And this is
lawyer?
why he has.
Why do you
Yeah.
need a lawyer for what? Your child was not attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Your child, your child's
Mm-hmm.
being accused, and it's confirmed that your child did this. So what do you need a lawyer for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and I think that's what was just most egregious to me is that they got a lawyer, and then the school committee kind of just snuck them on in there without saying anything to the other parents. That's where you all messed up, and all kind of heads need to roll. Not just the school administrator, but the principal. All of these people involved in all of this, their heads needs
Evaluate
to
the
roll
school,
because these
evaluate the
kids are
school
not
board.
learning anything.
Evaluate
Mm-hmm.
who's on the school board, who's on the school committee. The
Mm-hmm.
superintendent is under a microscope right now. Whose palms are getting greased for y'all to be
Mhm.
handling things the way you're handling them?
to
Shade.
sneak them back in to just dirty. And I feel like at the end of the day, well, I mean, we'll see where it all goes, but then I've also read since this happened, there have been other incidences of like, racist attacks on, kids that just hazing or, but the policy says this is what the policy says. So follow the policy that you guys created.
Hmm.
So anyway, we'll be watching this. I'll be watching this because I find it very interesting. And
Yeah.
Smithfield is right down the road from me, so I definitely want to know. But it's scary out here, and we all have to advocate for each other.
Yeah, we
But
definitely
you'll
do.
see. Hmm.
Mhm.
So I did want to, before we go, I did want to say one thing about this Starbucks thing. Have you heard about the Starbucks Barista Cup?
Yes. Somebody sent me
You
the
did? I didn't. I
flyer.
saw.
Somebody sent me the flyer with all the different things on it. And it was like, oh, and first of all, I've been
Uh-huh.
boycotting Starbucks since last year, since the election, because I heard that they were
Maybe
one of the
two,
companies
two or three.
that supported. I didn't even confirm it. I was like, you know what? I don't need Starbucks.
Hmm.
I do not need to go there. So I haven't been going there. But I got the memo
Hmm.
about it. Yeah.
But so the cups are going for what, $29? And
Hmm.
people were like lined up at 3 a.m. to get these cups. And now they're selling on eBay for like $550. They're glass. And one guy said that he saw a woman who had stood in line, walked out, and then dropped that glass. I was like, I hope that's just a funny story he's telling because I would have been heated. But we are consumers to the hilt. We gotta learn to start saying no to stuff because we're about to go into some rough times as it is. And it's not just Snap people, it's just us in general because the prices of everything is going up. It's
Yeah.
insane. But yeah, I don't understand it.
I'll
This damn
post
cup.
the
Anyway.
I'll post the flyer that somebody sent me because there's other stuff that's coming. This was the same thing that happened when they had the Wicked Starbucks card. It was like a golden card. I think it was a gift card or something like that. They
Oh, I
Starbucks
knew about that.
create so Starbucks and Target, it's like these companies are really going out of their way to try to recoup the money that they've lost since people started boycotting them. And these are the some of the ways, like these collaborations and all these and you Target used to get me every time with their special collaborations with designers. I've cut them off completely. I'm doing nothing but paying that card off. And when I'm done, I
Mhm.
don't set foot in Target. And I still have a ways to go. I'm still using Amazon. I'm still going to Walmart. But I'm very strategic about where I'm spending my money. Starbucks is not a place I'm interested in spending my money anymore. I also am not standing in
Mhm.
line to get no bear cup. That I'm too grown for that. I like it's just not. What am I
No.
going to do with it? But
I don't care. Even if I wasn't.
but for
Even
somebody
if I
in
wasn't. Yeah,
for somebody in
exactly.
my
It's just
house
no.
to drop it, because that's what would happen to the shit is I wouldn't drop it outside of Starbucks. Somebody in my house would chip it and not tell me. So that's another reason for me not to go
Hmm.
get it.
Hmm. I saw it. It's a little bear. I just don't even understand it. But that's who we are. So I don't think we have anything. We have Veterans Day coming up this week. I
Shout
think
out to our
Roger
veterans.
Williams is actually doing, yep, the food truck on that day. That's the 11th, so that's Tuesday. So
Hmm.
they're having the food truck uh tour. What is it? The food truck day. That's all they're calling it, just food truck day. But which is never usually on a Tuesday. It's usually on a Friday. But because of Veterans Day, they're doing it then. I hope the weather's nice because it's been kind of like chilly, then warm, then chilly. Because I went out yesterday, it was almost 60. It was like 50, 53. Well, it was 53, but it felt like 60.
That's good weather in
I'm like,
November.
that 53 was feeling good. Hmm. So yeah, I don't have anything else going on this week. You?
I
Hmm.
everything will get
Nothing.
posted on our socials, so you'll see us repost on socials,
Okay.
all the things that are upcoming. There's a lot going on, so I'll repost on Facebook
Hmm.
and also on our Instagram. You know where to find us. You know, always on Facebook at Little State Big Voices, on Instagram at Little State Big Voices. Not on TikTok, still not there. And then also
Not on TikTok.
full videos on YouTube as always, full videos on Spotify as well as you can listen to the audio. But yeah, there's always so much going on, so we're always gonna post it on the socials
And please, we're asking you this time, like, share, and comment.
and
We are
follow
trying
us.
to get our numbers up. Like, share, and comment. As every episode, because it does help. So, we appreciate it.
Yeah, turn it on in the
So
house and just
until
leave it
then,
playing when you go to work.
several times. Several times, hello. Well, until then, until next week, have a great week, a great Veterans Day. If you have a veteran in your household, I have four in my family right now. I got
Nice.
one, my son Jabril, baby. So, buy them a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Shout out to my
Buy a
niece
vet
and
a
my
cup of
niece.
coffee, but not
Exactly.
Starbucks.
Yeah. Somewhere else. A
But not
local, a
Starbucks.
local
Have a
coffee
great
shop.
week. We'll see you back.
Adios.
Yeah.
Girl, my battery was on like 5%. I was like, I got to, my battery